Hello and good morning. Welcome to our daily news roundup right here on Atlantic TV. I am Nkechi Tejere. Here are our top stories. Federal government disburses 192 billion naira to primary health care, targets stronger accountability. Federal government demands Dangote's anti-union policy as Falana backs Nupeng. Utomi Jega Falana Agbakoba lead push for electoral reforms ahead of 2027. CBN orders banks, fintechs to route regulatory reports through compliance departments. U.S. tightens visa policy, interviews must hold in country of residence. FIFA appoints Gabonese officials for Nigeria-South Africa World Cup clash. Now to the news in full. The federal government says it has disbursed more than 192 billion naira to strengthen primary health care facilities nationwide since 2019 under the Basic Health Care Provision Fund. Officials say the reforms, tagged BHCPF 2.0, are aimed at improving accountability, transparency, and service delivery at the grassroots. According to the Executive Director of the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Dr. Muyi Aina, over 8,300 healthcare facilities now receive quarterly allocations ranging between 600,000 naira and 800,000 naira, depending on the size and patient load. The funds, he said, are used to cover operational costs, human resources, essential medicines, and infrastructure support. Dr. Aino, however, noted that despite increased budgetary allocations, Nigeria's health system continues to face pressures from currency fluctuations, rising service costs, and accountability gaps. The federal government also revealed plans to tackle vaccine wastage and procurement inefficiencies, saying between 15 and 25% of vaccines remain unaccounted for. Officials say the reforms will save Nigeria $500 million in procurement costs over the next 5 years. He said reforms are being expanded to include a direct funding model that channels payments for commodities and health worker salaries into designated accounts, making the process more transparent and traceable. Human rights lawyer and senior advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, has thrown his weight behind the National Union of Petroleum and Gas Workers, NUPENG, over its planned indefinite strike against the Dangote Group's alleged anti-union policy. Falana, in a statement on Sunday, urged the federal government to call Dangote Petroleum Refinery to order, warning that attempts to stop new drivers from joining existing oil and gas unions violates Nigeria's constitution, the Trade Union Act, and international labor conventions ratified by the country. The PENG had earlier announced an indefinite strike starting on Monday, which begins today, the 9th of September 2025, in protest of the alleged policy which it says undermines workers' rights to freedom of association. Falana maintained that Nigeria's workers cannot be stripped of their rights to unionize and urged government agencies to intervene immediately to avert the looming strike and protect democratic freedoms. Falana noted that even under British colonial rule, Nigerian workers fought for and won the right to unionize. He warned that the Dangote Group must not be allowed to erode these hard-earned rights in modern Nigeria. Some of Nigeria's most prominent statesmen and activists are uniting in a new push for sweeping electoral reforms ahead of the 2027 general elections. The National Consultative Front, in partnership with the Labour and Civil Society Front, has fixed October 1st for a national dialogue on electoral reforms. NC Front spokesperson Malam Hamisu Santuwaki confirmed the dialogue date following a consultative meeting in Lagos. He said the campaign will demand compulsory electronic transmission of results, tougher penalties for vote buying, early and diaspora voting, proportional representation, and special seats for women and vulnerable groups. The movement, according to organizers, will also launch the Alliance for Defense of Democracy as a citizens' platform to coordinate the reform drive. The October 1st dialogue will build on earlier recommendations from the National Constitutional Summit, with organizers insisting that the time to strengthen Nigeria's democracy is now. Among the leaders spearheading the campaign are Professor Pat Utomi, Professor Atahiru Jega, Femi Falana, Dr. Olisa Agbakoba, Dr. Obi Ezekwesili, Joe Ajero of the NLC, and several others described as leaders of conscience. The new Nigeria People's Party has nullified the purported expulsion of Honorable Abdul Munin Jibrin, member representing Kiru Bebeji Federal Constituency of Kano State, describing the move as illegal and politically motivated. National Secretary of the party, Comrade Ogini Olaposi, Sunday, said the pronouncement came from Hashim Suleiman Dangurawa, an already expelled state chairman of the party. He described the decision as a joke taken too far, stressing that Dungurawa has no legal standing in NNPP matters. The party further accused former presidential candidate Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso of orchestrating the move in the bid to discredit Jibrin. Kwankwaso, now a confused politician, is behind the plot to discredit Honorable Abdul Munin. Dungurawa, already expelled by the court, has no local standing to expel anyone from NNPP. With the party declaring Jibrin's expulsion null and void, the NNPP says its focus will now be on reconciling factions and preparing for the 2027 polls. INI alleged that Kwankwaso's failed political maneuvers and loyalty battles within the party were behind the crisis. He also warned that Governor Abba Yusuf's loyalty to Kwankwaso could jeopardize NNPP's hold on Kano ahead of the 2027 elections. The African Democratic Congress in Ebonyi State is stepping up preparations for the 2027 general elections with a coalition of defectors from major opposition parties. The party says its focus is on ideas, inclusivity, and credible alternatives for Nigerians. At a strategic meeting in Abakaliki, the ADC received new members from the PDP, Labour Party, SDP, APGA, YPP, and even disenfranchised members of the ruling APC. Speaking at the event, former Labour Party senatorial candidate Chief Linus Okorie expressed confidence that ADC has the capacity to take power in 2027 through vision-driven leadership rather than propaganda. Party leaders say the coalition will serve as a vehicle to rescue Nigerians from economic hardship and offer a new style of governance. With the latest defections and growing coalition, ADC leaders in Ebonyi insist the party is well positioned to challenge for power in 2027, promising Nigerians transparent and inclusive governance. National Vice Chairman, Southeast Chief Fred Onwe, described ADC as a grassroots-driven movement, while State Chairperson Mrs. Jennifer Adibe Nwafo criticized the ruling APC for failing to meet citizens' expectations. She urged stakeholders across party lines to collapse their structures into ADC ahead of 2027. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and President Bola Tinubu's administration are trading accusations over alleged repression of opposition voices ahead of the 2027 elections. Atiku, speaking through his media aide, alleged that the government is using security agencies and political thuggery to weaken opposition parties. He cited the police invitation of former Kaduna Governor Nasir El-Rufai, the attack on an ADC meeting in Kebbi, and the disruption of a civic meeting in Katsina as signs of a clampdown. But the presidency has dismissed Atiku's allegations, describing them as baseless and politically motivated. It is obvious the government is encouraging political thuggery to intimidate the opposition, said by Atiku. The allegations are baseless. The government had no hand in this incident. The clash underscores rising political tension as Nigeria edges closer to the 2027 polls, with opposition parties accusing the ruling APC of tightening the political space. Presidential spokesperson Abdulaziz said El-Rufai was only invited by the police over comments he made at the Kaduna event, which also reportedly had armed supporters in attendance. He stressed that the government had no hand in the incident in Kebbi and Katsina, insisting there was no attempt to silence opposition voices. You're watching our Daily News Roundup. We'll go for a short break. More news stories when we return.
Alright, my name is Desoka, the comedy catalyst, one of Nigerian comedy.
Alright, guys, back again. Yes, boss. My name is Osh, baby.
Yemi Alade.
Yeah, what up, people? It's your boy Victor AD.
Girl Ninyola.
My name is my wife, and just celebrity type man.
My papa say, who won't carry cow, waka go, waka follow the cow. I know the line for you.
I see you know you're watching the Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV. Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV.
Informative, educative, interesting, entertaining.
Worldwide, international.
Don't go anywhere or I'll catch you.
Don't touch that die. Atlantic TV. Boom.
Atlantic TV. We wanna party.
Atlantic TV. Culturally inclined and uniquely different. Atlantic TV. Culturally inclined, uniquely different.
Welcome back. Now to some business stories. The Central Bank of Nigeria has directed all banks, payment service providers, and other financial institutions to submit their regulatory reports and correspondence directly to its compliance department. The Apex Bank said the directive is part of its broader reform to strengthen regulatory effectiveness and streamline oversight of non-prudential and emerging risks. According to the CBN, the newly created Compliance Department will now supervise financial crime risks, market conduct, enterprise security, as well as corporate governance and ESG oversight. The bank emphasized that the move is designed to clarify institutional responsibilities and ensure a more coordinated compliance framework. The CBN hereby formally notifies all regulated institutions that correspondence and inquiries on compliance matters must be directed to the Compliance Department through established communication channels. The Apex Bank says it looks forward to the cooperation of all institutions to ensure a smooth transition and uphold the highest standards of regulatory compliance. The department will also handle areas such as cybersecurity, data protection, third-party risk management, and sanctions compliance. Financial institutions are expected to receive direct communication from the CBN on specific points of contact and submission procedures. Away from business now to the foreign scene, the World Health Organization has raised alarm over instability at the United States Center for Disease Control and Prevention, warning that the agency's work must be protected at a time when global health challenges demand strong leadership. WHO Director General Dr. Tedros Ghebreyesus, in a statement on Sunday, praised the US CDC as a global center of excellence whose practices have been adopted by many nations. He recalled that institutions like Ethiopia's Public Health Agency and the Africa CDC were modeled after the US CDC. The call comes amid leadership resignations, proposed budget cuts, and concerns from public health experts about the future of the agency. WHO praises CDC as a global model for public health. Dr. Tedros emphasized that while no institution is perfect, the US CDC has been invaluable to global health, and its mission must be safeguarded from political and financial pressures. The American Society of Tropical Medicine and Hygiene had earlier expressed concern over senior-level resignations and a proposed 20% cut in CDC funding by the U.S. House of Representatives. The group described the CDC as a cornerstone of disease prevention, outbreak response, and health research, warning that instability could weaken Americans' public health defenses. The United States has announced sweeping changes to its visa policy, requiring all non-immigrant visa applications to attend interviews strictly in their country of nationality or residence. According to the U.S. State Department, the directive, effective as at September 6, 2025, which supersedes all previous rules that allowed applicants to process visas in third countries. The policy aims to streamline adjudications, manage global backlogs, and enhance security. The U.S. clarified that exemptions may be granted only for humanitarian or medical emergencies and specific foreign policy reasons. For many Nigerians accustomed to traveling abroad to secure faster interview slots, the new directive means adjusting to longer wait periods at home. The U.S. government insists the change is necessary to ensure fairness, security, and accountability in its visa process. The updated policy particularly affects nationals from countries with no routine U.S. visa operations who must now apply at designated consulates in specific third countries. However, applicants outside their country of residence will face longer wait times, no refund for rejected applications, and strict qualification hurdles. Away from the foreign scene now to sports news, FIFA has announced the officiating team for Tuesday's crucial 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifying showdown between Nigeria's Super Eagles and South Africa in Bloemfontein. The match, billed as one of the defining fixtures of the African qualifiers, will be staged at the Toyota Stadium. World Football's governing body confirmed that Gabonese referee Pierre Ginslain Atko will take charge of the high-stakes encounter. He will be assisted by compatriots Boris Malaise Diktsoga and Amos Abingni Ndong as assistants 1 and 2, while Craig Fleury Mokangni has been named fourth official. Additional oversight comes from Olivier Safari Kabene of the Democratic Republic of Congo, who will serve as referee assessor, while Ugandan official Mike Letty has been appointed match commissioner. The Bloemfontein clash comes as both Nigeria and South Africa battle for top spot in the group, with the Super Eagles sitting just behind the Bafana Bafana. Fans across the continent are bracing for 19 minutes of football drama that could reshape the qualification race. Atko is no stranger to the big stage, having handled several CAF Champions League fixtures. His appointment is expected to bring calm and neutrality to what is already shaping up to be a fiery contest between two long-standing rivals. French champions Paris Saint-Germain are demanding urgent reforms after what they described as serious and avoidable injuries to Ousmane Dembele and Desire Doué while on international duty with France. Both players picked up muscle injuries in Friday's World Cup qualifier against Ukraine. PSG confirmed Dembele will be sidelined for around 6 weeks with a hamstring injury, while Doué faces at least 4 weeks out with a calf problem. In a strongly worded statement, the club criticized the French Football Federation, saying their medical warnings and workload recommendations for both players had been ignored. The League One giants have written to the FFF urgently requesting a new and more transparent medical protocol to ensure proper collaboration between club and national team doctors. PSG urgently requests a new protocol that is transparent and collaborative, ensuring systematic exchanges between club and national team medical staff. France coach Didier Deschamps responded by saying he understands PSG's frustration, but insisted that there is no such thing as zero risk. Dembele and Doué will now miss PSG's League One return this weekend and their Champions League opener against Atalanta on the 17th of September. PSG added that while they remain committed to Les Blues, incidents like this should trigger lasting change in how player health is managed during the international duty. And with that sports news, we come to the end of our daily news roundup for today, right here on Atlantic TV. Do well to follow us on all our social media platforms for more updates and stories. Thank you so much for watching. I am Nkechi Tejere. Have a good day.